Let's look at Tucker Carlson, episode 3. America's principles are at stake.
Hey, it's Tucker Carlson. The Biden administration arrested Donald Trump this afternoon. They had him arraigned and fingerprinted.
Dude, he's doing the thing. Okay, back in the day when Tucker Carlson had a built-in audience, he would have to engage in. I mean, he could engage in whatever the fuck he wanted to because the ratings were like basically built in. Nowadays, when my man is making content, because he's doing it at the lowest end of content creation, which is Twitter, a platform where every single content creator on said platform is desperately trying to find an avenue of monetization off of the platform, whether it be a Substack, whether it be a Patreon and a podcast, whether it be a Ko-Fi. Tucker Carlson has dived in head first. Okay? Head first. That's what he's doing. Which is really bad. So for that purpose, he has to cover whatever the fuck is popping. So now he's doing like quick returns. I'm going to do a 13-minute slot on the fucking Biden administration. Okay? So that's great. So also this comes immediately after Fox has sent Tucker Carlson a cease and desist letter, by the way. Apparently Fox News sent a cease and desist letter to Tucker Carlson as he ramps up a competing series on Twitter that drew a combined 169 million views for its first 2 episodes, Axios has learned. Those views are nothing, but it doesn't matter. Everyone that writes media reporting is 174 years old mentally, so they literally cannot comprehend that Twitter views are insignificant. Twitter views are not the same as like television views. Twitter views are not even the same as Twitch views, okay? Anyway, why it matters. The contract battle between Fox and its former top host, who was taken off the air on April after the network's historic Dominion settlement, has mighty repercussions for the conservative media ecosystem. With Tucker on Twitter, Carlson and his growing production team are working to elevate Elon Musk's social media site as a news platform. The cease and desist letter has a not for publication in bold at the top. Fox is continuing to pay Carlson and maintains that his contract keeps his content exclusive to Fox through December 31st, 2024. Oh my God. Carlson is making a First Amendment argument for posting on Twitter and asserts that Fox has committed material breaches of his contract. Carlson's first 2 Twitter episodes were straight-to-camera monologues. He plans to keep iterating with longer, more varied episodes in addition of guests, Axios is told. Harmeet Dillon, a lawyer who represents Carlson along with Brian Friedman, said in a statement to Axios, Fox News continues to ignore the interests of its viewers, not to mention its shareholder obligations. They're paying to bench him? Okay, first of all, Kaya, no. Stop biting the walls. Oh my God, you have so many toys. Why are you eating the shelves? Jesus Christ. Yeah, no, first of all, shelving him like this while still paying him is well worth the price if you want to kill him. Okay? That's it. Because Fox News knows, just like Tucker Carlson, that if Tucker Carlson goes away until 2024, it's fucking over. It is so jover for him. Okay? Which is why he's like desperately trying to maintain some kind of audience, cultivate some kind of fan base. So that's it. That's why Fox News is like saying, no, we'll keep paying your ass. You know, don't violate your fucking non-compete. They also might want to just like kick him off the coverage. They probably don't want to keep paying him millions of dollars. You know what I mean? Hey, this is awesome. Teamsters have secured air conditioning for UPS fleet in major tentative deal. The Teamsters and UPS have agreed to tentative language to equip the company's fleet with air conditioning systems, new heat shields, and additional fans during national contract negotiations today. That's huge. Also, this is why unions are necessary. UPS literally won't give air conditioning to their fucking drivers, man. They literally, like, that's a basic part of a fucking vehicle. They wouldn't do that until you had to threaten a strike. The tentative agreement follows a week of intense lobbying by the Teamsters National Negotiating Committee and UPS negotiators to recognize the enormous dangers of heat-related issues facing UPS Teamsters nationwide. The new contract language would mandate UPS equip in-cab AC systems in all larger delivery vehicles. Remember when I talked about this like not 3 weeks ago. Sorry, this was a problem like 2 years ago or 3 years ago. I mean, this has been an ongoing problem, and people fucking told me that that's bullshit. That like they just can't do it. I think it was 2 years ago, where they were like, "Oh, they can't do that. It's like too expensive." Like, bitch, what do you mean too expensive? It's literally your workers. Like, these are people who need. Like, this isn't even a comfort situation at that point. Like, air conditioning becomes a human right at that point if you're fucking in the car for that long. Yes, I was here. I remember because I timed out that day for a bait that went too far. It's crazy. United States Postal Service still doesn't have that, by the way, I think. 2 fans would also be installed in the cab of all package cars following ratification for a new contract. All newer non-electric UPS package cars and vans will be installed with exhaust heat shields, further protecting Teamsters from dangerous heat. It's crazy. Actually fucking wild. A wild situation. Okay. Where was I? Oh, we were looking at Tucker Carlson.
Printed in a Miami courthouse like the accused felon he now technically is. These were the first steps in a process that is designed to put Donald Trump behind bars for the rest of his life. Cable news carried every moment of it live. It's unprecedented, they told us, with what
Oh, those jump cuts are so gross, the way that it's happening.
Looked like shock. But they weren't shocked. They knew this was coming. Everyone who's paid attention knew it was. What just happened was always going to happen. It's been inevitable since February 16th, 2016. That's the day Donald Trump made a blood enemy of the largest and most powerful organization in human history, which would be the federal government. Despite what you may remember, it wasn't anything that Trump had said about immigration or trade with China or rapists from Mexico. Those are the stories that dominated the headlines that year. Trump's a racist, they screamed. Stop him. But inside Washington, that was just noise. None of it really rated. Identity politics doesn't mean much to permanent Washington. What matters, then and now, is foreign policy. The invasions and occupations and proxy wars. The decisions that determine which global populations will thrive and which will die. The policies that come with trillion-dollar price tags. The ones that, over time, have made the counties around D.C. the richest suburbs in the world. In Washington, that's what actually matters. And it's obvious when you look carefully. When there's a debate about anything else, for example, the debt ceiling, both sides take their assigned positions and they start yelling.
This is why Tucker Carlson is such a fucking silly little bitch. Okay? He's making it seem like Donald Trump is this wonderful, peaceful dove, and that's why they hate him. This is the guy that, one, wants to literally have a Cold War with China. Okay? This is also, the guy he's talking about is Donald Trump, who has made an effort to engage in that Cold War with China, but not really. But more importantly, he's the guy who fucking literally assassinated a foreign head of state. Okay? A foreign head of state. Only reason why that didn't turn into further fucking conflict is because, what the fuck was Iran going to do? The idea that Donald Trump, who has, one, threatened to do terrorism and destroy, fucking landmarks, like cultural landmarks, or that the guy who, assassinated Soleimani, a general, not a head of state. I mean, he's one of the fucking leaders. Yes, he's a general, but he was a very popular general. Okay? The idea that Donald Trump's a peaceful dove when he actually turned around and destroyed Obama's signature and perhaps one of his only few good moves in terms of foreign policy, which is of course the Iran denuclearization agreement, which took so long and multiple nations had to like get involved in this process. He took that and he ripped it apart and then added additional sanctions to Iran, even though they were following through on the agreement, even though the agreement was had fallen apart, destroyed relationships with Cuba. This guy is not a fucking peaceful dove. Okay, anyone that tells you that Donald Trump was a peaceful dove is a fucking delusional weirdo. The only area where Donald Trump actually excelled as far as like, foreign policy goes was one, he was not very good at doing coups, even though he still tried. That was number one. And number two, he let the Korean relations be handled by the Koreans. That's it. That was like, those were the only two good things that he did. Anyway, man accuses 9-year-old girl with short hair of being trans and leaves her sobbing. The old man told her and another girl with short hair that they're obviously trans and shouldn't compete. Yep, it's already happening. It's going to happen. It's going to happen more frequently. I told you that was going to happen. Yeah, all the shit that like liberals said was a bad thing about his foreign policy, that was good, but that's it.
But when Congress decides to start a war, no matter how foolish or counterproductive or obviously disconnected from America's core interests that war may be, when that happens, the leaders of both parties automatically jump behind it like circus clowns. And then they stay there, sometimes for decades. They defend that war relentlessly against all evidence until somebody finally rings the all-clear bell.
That was in Canada? Okay. That's America's hat, brother. They're trying to be like us so fucking bad. What do you mean?
And they can begin to admit that actually, maybe it wasn't such a great idea. We meant well, but it just didn't work out.
What are you trying to say, that like Canadians are not as transphobic as Americans are? Like, I don't understand.
The good news is we've learned a lot of important lessons. In the end, they usually do say something like that, but only after emotions have cooled and the damning details have begun to fade from collective memory. It's an apology that's not actually an apology, much less repentance, and it's years too late to matter in any case. But until then, that's all you're getting. Until then, no dissent is allowed. That's the first rule of Washington. But somehow Trump didn't bother to follow it. He is from out of town, so maybe he didn't know it was a rule, or maybe he just didn't care. Either way, 7.5 years later, we can point to the precise moment that...
Don't let Tucker Carlson's glazing of Donald Trump distract you from the unearthed text messages that showed how much he fucking despises him. I will never ever forget that. That's when you're fucking totally trapped by your audience, okay? You're not even on Fox News anymore. You have your own Twitter show, okay? You have every freedom known to man, okay? I can say whatever the fuck I want about whatever fucking politician I want, okay? If I don't like a politician, I can say it. If I like a politician, I can say it. It's awesome. And I'm on Twitch. You're on an objectively lower website than Twitch. How do I know that? Because all those fucking meme accounts on Twitter are desperately trying to move away from Twitter to actually make money at another platform by doing the same kind of posting that they're doing. You have a show on Twitter and you still have to fucking say nice things about Donald Trump. Sad state of affairs. Well, here's Tucker saying we should have bombed Mexico as well as Iran.
Yes, Soleimani was linked to the deaths of Americans. Nobody mourns his passing. But Mexico and China are also linked to the deaths of Americans. Each has flooded our country with narcotics from which tens of thousands of Americans die every single year. Not that anyone...
Man, I love the peaceful dove Tucker Carlson talking about bombing Mexico.
In power cares. So does that mean...
God, he's such a fucking peaceful dove, dude. Everyone's talking about bombing Iran, but hypothetically, no one is talking about bombing Mexico. We should be talking about bombing Mexico more. What are they going to do? Bomb us back? They can't. Anyway, mind you, this is right after they found out about the largest lithium mine on the planet besides in Mexico. I don't think this was then, but it doesn't matter. I don't even think Tucker Carlson is caring about resource extraction, and that's why he's cutting this narrative about bombing Mexico. I think he's doing it because he thinks it plays well. What are you doing? What are you? Stop biting me, fucking weirdo. Get it. Bring it back. All right, let's fucking finish this off, okay? Nope. Gaia.
Permanent Washington decided to send Donald Trump to prison. Here it is. It's from the Republican candidates debate in Greenville, South Carolina.
We should have never been in Iraq. We have destabilized the Middle East. They lied. Okay. They said there were weapons of mass destruction. There were none, and they knew there were none. There were no weapons of mass destruction.
All right. We should never have been in Iraq, Trump said. We destabilized the Middle East. Now, by the time Trump said that, a lot of Republican primary voters were starting to reach the same conclusion. How could they not? But it was the next line that doomed Trump to today's arrest. They lied, he said. There were no weapons of mass destruction, and they knew there were none. Now, when he said that, a few in the crowd booed. Most just sat there in silence, stunned. Can he say that? Well, he said it anyway. And by saying that, he sealed his fate. That was the one thing you were not allowed to say, because it implicated too many people on both sides, which on this topic is really just one side. Hillary Clinton was guilty of it, but so was Paul Ryan. All of them were guilty. They all knew, they all lied. And to a person, they hated Donald Trump for exposing them. After that, it was pretty clear that even if he did get elected president, Trump was going to have a very hard time controlling the federal government he was supposed to be in charge of. Most of permanent Washington decided that thwarting Trump was the single most important mission in their lives. Everything depended on it. Many of them said so publicly, but others didn't say so publicly. In fact, the stealthier ones took another path. They ran toward Trump, not away from him. They sucked up to him. They ingratiated themselves with the man they intuitively understood was susceptible to flattery, which Trump is. And they did this in order to subvert his new administration from the inside. There were a number of these, and you could spot them immediately. They were flatterers. Invariably, the ones who flattered Trump the most hated him the most and disagreed the most strongly with his views. You saw them in the hallways of the White House and at press conferences. They were there slobbering over their boss with elaborate self-abasement, as if they were addressing a monarch or a god. It was a scene from the Ottoman court. It was filthy and decadent, and it was false. Mike Pence, Nikki Haley.
What the Yo, chill, bro. Why is he coming for the Ottomans, dude? And saying it's a scene for the Ottoman courts is decadent and filthy. Suck my dick, bro. You stay away. Fuck you know about the Ottoman courts, bitch. Bitch ass. And keep your fucking the Ottoman name out of your mouth, okay?
Pompeo, Lindsey Graham in the Congress. They all called Trump a visionary genius up until the moment he lost power. And then they unsheathed their real agenda, as always the neocon war agenda, and they piled on with maximum force. Here's Mike Pompeo, for example, on Fox News this morning.
President Trump had classified documents where he shouldn't have had them, and then when given the opportunity to return them, he chose not to do that for whatever reason. When somebody identifies that, you got to turn them in. And so that's inconsistent with protecting America's soldiers, sailors.
Like, in order to maintain an audience on Twitter or on the internet, you have to talk about, like, dumb shit. You have to talk about some of the stuff he actually talked about on his show, but you have to, like, learn more about the fuckable green M&Ms and stuff. You know what I mean? And he's not putting out enough content talking about how he wants to, like, how mad he is about the Fable character that just came out and how he doesn't want to fuck the new Fable character. You know what I mean? Like, you need to do stuff like that. Like, Tim Pool is like always on. You know what I mean? He's always aware. He's like, oh, Nick Merckx' skin was removed. This is like objectively evil. You know what I mean? Tucker Carlson and his writers don't fucking know enough about like Nick Merckx' Call of Duty skin to have a position on it, you know?
Sailors, airmen, and Marines, and if the allegations are true, some of these were pretty serious, important documents, and so that's wrong.
May future historians hoping to unlock the mysteries of late Empire Washington study that clip, because it will reveal everything. That very same Mike Pompeo, the one who's sneering at Donald Trump on TV this morning, that guy served Donald Trump as both CIA director and as Secretary of State. Those are the two most powerful jobs in the federal government. And as he worked in those jobs, Pompeo promised, in fact, he swore, to support the president's agenda. Why? Because that's the way a democracy works. You vote for a candidate in the belief that his appointees will carry out the policies that you voted for. It's not about the president, it's about you, the voter. But Pompeo didn't do that. He didn't even try to do that. In fact, he undermined Trump's often stated commitment to peace and non-intervention abroad at every turn. His every waking hour was devoted to fomenting war in some faraway foreign country or other. Iran, Syria, Russia, North Korea, the list goes on. But rather than telling Trump that he disagreed with his ideas, as a man would, Pompeo toadied up to Trump, a man he despised, in the oiliest, most over-the-top way imaginable. Ask anyone who worked in that White House at the time. Who is the appointee most likely to tell Donald Trump on a daily basis that he was handsome, virile, sleek, and powerful? Mike Pompeo. That will be the consensus answer. Those of us who saw firsthand Pompeo's relentless kowtowing will never forget it. It was indelibly repulsive. No one with self-respect could do something like that. But Mike Pompeo did it effortlessly, with
yeah, okay, we got it, man. He's just like, he sucked up the Trump, just like you're kind of doing right now. It's laughable that you care about Donald Trump being a peaceful dove, which he is not. You are not a peaceful dove, and neither is he. I don't give a fuck if Mike Pompeo was like glazing him in the administration.
relish and verve. Now this
Washington boring,
is a city
boring,
and you're the untouchable in this.
Like, I'm sorry, but like, fucking Days crypto monkey is not like genuinely looking at this and going, "Oh, dude, it's so sick. Thank you for like addressing Mike Pompeo." Who's this for? Who's this for, Tucker? Your videos are going to go downhill if you keep fucking cutting content without actually trying to serve an audience. Like right now, Tucker is popping, quote unquote, by Twitter standards because he's on Twitter. He's writing for Twitter and he's basically fucking saying like, he's currently cutting content and he's currently cutting content and is currently interesting because people like that he's doing a show that he used to do on television, but on Twitter. That is going to wear off. The novelty of that is going to wear off. And at a certain point, he's going to start having to like actually address certain things, make content that is unique and interesting. He's in the game just like I am. We're in the same game now. And unfortunately for Tucker, he's in a worse position overall than myself in this game. You know what I mean? Does Carlson expect us all not to remember he supported the Iraq War? He's apologized for it. He says that it was a bad idea now, even though he quite literally postured with like Blackwater defense contractors. Like he actually went to the most ruthless, bloodthirsty, violent war criminals, and he did PR for them. Yeah, more milk porn coverage and less of this, Tucker.
Which translates roughly into English as exploding milk porn.
Stop. He did not just say exploding milk porn. Oh, she's pressing buttons. Calm down. No! Anyway, guys, Love you all, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye.